Hey everyone, just so you know, the following video is a clip from a show I actually do on AFTV. The full link for the video is in the description below. Thank you for your continued support, really appreciate it. I want to talk to you about the dynamic on the left-hand side because it's been missing a little bit in the time that Kivior started left back, Tomiyasu started left back, Timber for 60 minutes. We miss you, you're in. You know, and in this game, Arsenal started to look far more penetrative down that side. We've mentioned Vieira. What did you make of Zinchenko's impact on the game, but also how he was combining with Vieira and Martinelli?
Huge. I mean, he's one of the most technical players. You know, I think Zinchenko's one of the most technical players at the club. Possibly the most technical player at the club. I think maybe he's let down because we're in a very athletic era in football, especially against an athletic team like Everton, and he doesn't have the pace, the physicality. But in terms of sitting in a sort of quarterback position, you know, taking up these types of positions, just as soon as he starts to invade the opposition half, he can start to pick out passes. And with Rice and Vieira kind of giving him a little bit of cover, he's got time to look at those passes, and I think you've got a graphic of his passes which we'll get to at some
you're right.
point.
Let's get them up now. You're spot on, because what strikes me, and we have to flip it, everyone, so now we're looking left to right, so it's different to how it was before, but what strikes me is how many, in fact, let's try and just show it here. We'll get the trusted circle, let's do it in yellow so you can all see it very clearly, is how many of the passes, I'm just showing where the end of the arrow is, where he's finding them in that sort of 10 space. There's a cluster of them here. There's a couple here. I remember, I mean, actually, do you know what? Let's just show this whole box here. How many times he is sort of getting them into these really penetrative areas. There's another one there, another one there.
He's playing the passes before the final action passes, right? So he's assisting the assister a lot of the time. There are times, there's one lovely ball over the top that he sent through for
Trossard, I think it was,
Yeah, it was really lovely and just caught out the defence. And what we did really well was just tease. We know that they're going to sit deep, but what we did really well is hold the ball, not force the pass, and just tease their block out. They weren't really pressing aggressively, but as soon as they came and pressed in this space here, just outside the 18-yard box, the timing of the passes was really good, and that's what you get with Fabio Vieira and Ødegaard on the pitch, as opposed to maybe a Havertz. And I think Havertz has that ability, but I think obviously we know he's struggling for a little bit of confidence at the moment, and this game actually turned out to be tailor-made for Fabio Vieira. But we were talking about the starting 11, and I was very similar to you. I thought this could be a problem, especially after what happened back in February. Decore, Onana, I think Onana was man of the match that day, completely ran the show. But Fabio Vieira dealt with coming in to start really well. Yeah,
he did, I agree. And this slightly lighter blue pass, and we'll just highlight where it ends up. That's a ball from Zinchenko to Vieira where he puts on his right foot, gets a shot away. I think Vieira's probably hoping probably expecting you to do better with that shot normally, but again, it's finding that pocket. And again, we talk about that cluster as basically so good at getting in and going, I will put you in front of goal. I'll get my 10s and my creators into the areas they need to be. Don't be the deep lying playmaker. I'll take that on from left back. And we have analysed this on this show before, but I just think it's worth reminding people, not just, oh, he's done it once, so there we go. The fact that he's able to deliver it, whether it's at home to Newcastle, he did it very well, or home to Man United, he did it brilliantly, and now where Goodison, where Arsenal didn't implement this football so well last season, this was much improved. But we talk about the left-hand side, another player, well, I say another player, we've just been talking about the whole time, it is Fabio Vieira. The other thing he was offering with this width, and we just bring everyone back forward, Eddie Nketiah, well, Vieira I felt was doing really well by floating in these spaces, and so disingenuous having Martinelli there, because it was obviously Trossard for a lot of the game. But if we just move everyone forward, like we said, Zinchenko gets into this area. When, you know, it's so difficult to stop Arsenal's wingers, because if you're going to come across, well, you're asking Danjuma to come back and support, but then that gives Zinchenko all the freedom in the world to do whatever he wants to do. So if you are going to stay narrow, and we're going to talk about the average positions a little bit later, it's really interesting, and Young is coming across, either Tarkowski vacates that more centre-back position, really in front of goal, just dealing with whatever comes into the box, or he stays, or he has to vacate it and deal with Vieira. But the fact that question is always asked means that when this ball comes, let's get football out. There we go. No. There we go. When Martinelli has this ball, and we saw it a few times, Vieira is really good at making that run in beyond. And it just, Tarkowski might get across after, but that is such a threatening position
100%.
because it causes such havoc whether you just lash it across goal. There was one moment, I think it was a ball over the top. I can't remember who played the pass, maybe Trossard or Zinni, I can't remember, where he just lashed it across goal. Vieira, sometimes he was getting there and actually trying to pick out across.
Should have gambled for it, but he wasn't quite there. Yeah, for sure. And obviously last season we had Granit Xhaka in this position. He had his best goal scoring season for Arsenal, I think 7 or 8 goals.
Yeah.
Now we've got Vieira. He's up there with Martinelli, Saka, and Ødegaard for most GA per minute for the minutes that he plays, considering he's not a starter of anybody in the team since he signed for the club, despite playing a bit of bits and pieces here and there. So if he can work his way into getting a consistent run of games, then he really can be that goal force. And like you say, one of the battles I was looking at the beginning of the game was Martinelli against Young. I know Martinelli obviously went off with the thigh injury after the goal, and I'm sure you'll come on to that. But I thought this is a battle which we can really, really win. Saka's played against Mykolenko a couple of times. He's been able to do a bit against him, but Mykolenko seems to enjoy that battle against Bukayo Saka. But a much older Ashley Young, dealing with the young and pace and directness of Martinelli, that was a key battle. They're going to come out and double up on our wingers, as we know that they do, and that's just going to create so much space for Vieira to drive in. And like I say, you've got Zinchenko here. If Danjuma comes and picks him up, he plays it back. He's got Declan Rice, who's another excellent ball player. And Zinchenko's amazing at sort of a mid-range passing. He can do the short passing and the triangles, which we associate with classic Arsenal. And Rice is great for the long-range passing, but Zinni's kind of mid-range passing, picking up little gaps, and as soon as somebody leaves the gap, he can play that ball in and drive it in. And I think that's what we're going to see a lot more. But really, really good to see them dominate the game so much against the physical side, and Everton weren't really able to put their game plan into place because of the platform that we created.
Yeah, I completely and utterly agree. And I think this is a really interesting quote from Mikel Arteta. It's from a while back, but we saw the Vieira slip ball in behind to Martinelli and the disallowed goal. We won't go into it, maybe a touch unfortunate, but that ball from Fabio Vieira, we talk about his final third quality, he delivers it there. And this quote from Arteta, he says, I think relationships are built in teams and that chemistry comes naturally. And when you see him play with Fabio more together, he has even more chemistry because they love each other so much. Lovely quote. And they have that way of looking at each other and understanding what's going to happen. And you definitely saw that in this game a lot more.